Welcome back to the Blue North. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about Justin Trudeau and his latest ethics break, where it was, I guess, a lapse of thinking. He apologized. He's made more apologies, this prime minister, than all combined. Really. He's ridiculous. His behavior is, I guess you could liken it to a spoiled brat who always gets his way, who's never told no, and who just really is above all of the rules of the household. Well, this is Justin Trudeau. This is what we have as our prime minister. Caught in blackface, was his dad's fault, didn't know better, even though at the time he was a teacher. So I asked my 11-year-old and I asked my 9-year-old at the time if they thought it was something that was appropriate, and they both said, "Oh my gosh, Dad, that's horrible. You can't do that. That would be racist." Well, here we have a guy who was a teacher at the time, and he still felt like it was okay. And then, of course, it was his dad's fault because of his upbringing, because of his you know fancy life that he's lived, the prestigious life that his dad provided. I guess he didn't understand that maybe you shouldn't do stuff like be in blackface. Well, now we have a prime minister who's giving money to a charity that gives money to Justin's entire family: his wife, his mom, his brother, his cabinet ministers. How many times are we going to have to put up with Justin apologizing in that empty, just, he doesn't even, it's not even a real apology. I should have reclused myself. I should have, yeah, it's a ridiculous, he's going through the motions, but you can tell he doesn't really care. This is how many times that this prime minister has had to apologize? 3, 4? This is umpteen many times where we see him involved in something that is less than credible to the office of prime minister. SNC Lavalin, blackface. We see that India trip where he invited a terrorist to supper. His team did. And then when he got home and it all was starting to hit the fan, it was the government's fault. It was the India government's fault. He's a millennial. He's like a millennial. He's not ever responsible. It's never his fault. So why is he sitting in that office? If all of these things combined are from one prime minister, why is he still there? Well, hopefully this is the straw that breaks the camel's back. Hopefully this is the thing that we finally get someone that is going to be somewhat fiscally responsible, someone that's going to be less of an embarrassment across this globe, someone that is going to not be smug when he speaks and deals with other parties. And he was a very smug, thought he was going to get this UN Security Council position and made comments about Harper not getting it, and then didn't get it himself and spent twice the amount of money. We need somebody like Peter MacKay that's going to step up. He's going to be able to handle the role, have experience in that role. Worked with Stephen Harper in the government. He worked with Stephen Harper to form the Conservative government when the PC Party of Canada and the Canadian Alliance joined to make the Conservatives a united vote. Instead of splitting the Conservative vote, they united under the Conservative banner, and we had 9 years of Stephen Harper, which were fantastic for this country. And Peter MacKay was there for all of that. So he has the experience. He has the makeup of a prime minister. He's not running on his dad's name. He's running on what he's accomplished in office and for his community and for his country. It's time to get rid of this spoiled brat that we have now and get back to a conservative government that's going to be somewhat fiscally sound and is going to put the people of Canada back to work. We have our western provinces dying to get that oil field going. We have a steel mill in Sault Ste. Marie that's trying to get tubes out to that because it's a circle. Tenaris Tubes makes the tubes that they put in the ground in Alberta, and in Alberta gets gas and they send it to Sault Ste. Marie, and that's what the tube mill burns to make the tubes. Everybody helps everybody. So we need to get a prime minister in power that's going to stop China from giving us steel and use the steel that's made right here so that we can get back to this entire country from one end to the other, working to make money, prospering, having everyday Canadians benefit from it. The only person that's going to lead us back to that is Peter MacKay. So if you're a conservative and you have a membership, we have a leadership vote coming up. You should be getting your thing in the mail, your ballot in the mail. Make sure you fill it out properly. If you have questions, call in. You can call petermackay.ca. You can email. There's a phone number involved. If you go to www.petermackay.ca, you can get any information you need. And you can get any help to fill out your ballot before you send it in. Because if you don't fill it out right, it's a spoiled ballot. So we have to get Peter in as leader, and then we have to get him to that prime minister's chair in the next election. So hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned. I am going to do a podcast on how to fill out the ballot. Once I receive mine, I will do a YouTube video. I will go through all of the steps on how to fill out this ballot properly and where you can go, how you can get the photocopies and that done of your ID, because you're going to have to photocopy your ID to send in with your ballot. So hit that subscribe button, stay tuned, and let's get Peter MacKay elected.